Hello, everyone. I hope I'm audible. Am I audible? Please confirm yes. I could see people joining in. Yes. So, am I audible? Loud and clear? All right. Great. Thank you for confirming. Okay. So, welcome to day 14. And I'm really glad for people who have been making it for all these days. And as people are joining, I would like to just guide you. Take a slow, deep breath in. And today, no pressure to feel any certain way. Just make yourself be aware. All right? So, I would like to start this session today with try to take slow and steady, deep breathe in and exhale. And exhale a bit little longer. All right? So, as we know, over the last few days, we have spoken about emotional suppression, survival responses, people pleasing, emotional numbness, repeating patterns, right? So, we try to, get into little deeper, one layer deeper every day. And slowly, one thing keeps becoming clearer. We have figured out that most emotional struggles are not because something is wrong with you. There is no such issue that you are struggling. They are often connected to how your nervous system learned to protect you. Yes, that's how it is. And today, conversation may completely change the way you look at yourself because we are going to talk about nervous system. And because many people spend years fighting themselves internally, like whereas in reality their nervous system has simply been trying to keep them safe. And we'll understand when we get into deeper. So stay with me today in this conversation. It's going to be deeply important. So I want to start with a question, and I want you to just notice, not answer with your mind. Just notice what happens in your body when I ask it. Are you ready? Okay. So, I want to know, when was the last time you felt truly, completely safe inside your own skin? As I said, don't answer from your mind. Just notice what happens in your body when I ask this. And when I say completely safe, doesn't mean like not safe like nothing bad could happen. Safe like your shoulders could drop, your jaw could unclench, your stomach could stop bracing. safe like you could just exist without managing yourself. These are too deep. For a lot of us, and I really mean a lot of us, that feeling is extremely rare. And we have normalized its absence so completely that we don't even notice we are braced anymore. We think this tightness, this vigilance, this low grade hum of anxiety, we think that's just who we are. Most of these reactions began as protection. And the problem is, many people spend years trying to control these symptoms because without understanding what their nervous system is trying to protect them from. That's the reason you will hear people say these things. Why am I reacting like this? Why can't I calm down? Why do I overthink everything, even the smallest thing? Why do I feel unsafe even when nothing bad is happening? And because they don't understand the nervous system, they begin fighting themselves internally. They judge their emotions, they suppress reactions, they shame themselves for feeling sensitive. Yeah, it is true. These days, people feel ashamed when they are too much sensitive towards their emotions. And trust me, it can happen with anyone. Even a strongest person can actually feel sensitive at times, and that's okay. And they force themselves to stay strong. That's something, another face of it. However, neuroscience tell us something very different. The nervous system is always asking one question: am I safe right now? And depending on that answer, your body changes everything. That is, your breathing, your heart rate, your thoughts, your emotions, your reactions, even. So, today I want you to, offer you something different. I want to show you that your nervous system, the very thing that has been keeping you in survival mode, is not broken. It is not your enemy. It has been doing exactly with what it has been designed for, designed to do. And once you understand that, everything shifts. And I was I would also like to clarify, these are the learning, these are the research which I have indeed learned, noted down, and that's what I'm being able to share this with you. So listen to this very carefully. You are not fighting yourself. You are often fighting the survival responses that once helped you cope with your situations. And it can be anything. And if this resonates with you already, stay till the end of the session. Stay till the end. Yes, I could hear a lot of, I could see in the chat a lot of yeses. Yes. And for those of you joining me for the first time, I'm Ishita Bakchi. I'm a life coach specializing in emotional intelligence, a counseling psychologist, a DMIT counselor, and I also work with healing practices like pranic healing, Reiki, and crystal healing. And what my work really focuses on is helping people understand the deeper connection between the emotions, the nervous system, and emotional safety. And I could also do that because there has been some practical experiences which I have helped myself to do and overcome, that actually inspired me to work on this, to learn more about this. And because many people, that's how I would like to say, because many people are not emotionally weak. They are emotionally exhausted from living in this survival mode for too long. People often easily label, right? um, Weak people show emotions. So I would like to tell everyone who thinks they are weak, they are not. They are just exhausted. And when the nervous system stays in this survival mode for too long, people may begin experiencing things like constantly scanning for problems before they happen, struggling to truly relax even during rest, emotionally overextending themselves for others beyond the bandwidth, shutting down during stress or conflict, carrying an exhaustion that sleep alone doesn't fix. These all are real experiences I would like to share. Like just an example. Have you ever faced that you have gone for a vacation, but your mind is constantly struggling that okay, it's just going to end in 3 days. I have so many things pending. I have to get this enrolled. I have to pay this fees or something or the other. And that rest is eventually not happening. And maximum time, emotional overextending, you are giving so much that you are not for yourself anymore. Because these all situations occurs because a body that has learned to stay alert all the time often forgets what real safety feels like. So today is not about fixing yourself. I always say there is nothing that here we are to fix because you were never broken. It's about understanding yourself differently. And there's something I noticed repeatedly while working with people over the years. Their life from the outside looked like proof, solid proof that they are fine. That's why it's my observation. That's why we see often that in the same home, in the same place, different people staying. However, one person is not aware of the other person's state, what actually they are going through. Responsibilities met, output steady, always available for everyone else except for themselves. And internally, the nervous system had never truly calmed down. It had never really rested for a long time. That reminds me of one of my clients who was my friend as well, once said to me, we were sitting together in a session and she looked at me and very quietly said, Ishita, I genuinely don't know what it feels like to relax anymore. That was really deep. That one sentence, it stayed for me for a long time. Because if you looked at her from outside, you would see nothing wrong. She was managing everything. She was showing up for work, for family, for people around her. Nothing was falling apart. But her body had not had a single moment of genuine rest in years. She told me that even in the quiet moments, the moments where nothing was wrong, Her mind was already preparing for next thing that could go wrong. And it's nothing to make fun of. Really, these are certain situations which many of them must be going through silently. It's just that they are not bold enough to share that. She would replay the old conversation again and again in her mind, wondering if she had said something wrong. She would brace for conflict that hadn't arrived yet because she had faced it, that something would, trigger a conflict. So she will always be in that alert mode that, okay, now something is going to come up. She would feel guilty the moment she tried to rest, like rest was something she hadn't earned. And this made her mentally on guard. She was guarding always, even when the house was quiet, like say in the weekends when everybody is in this rest mode, still. And I want to be very clear about something. What she was experiencing was not at all weakness. If anybody wants to think or label it as weakness, it's not. It was not anxiety as a personality flaw. It was not something wrong with who she was. It was just her nervous system had simply learned through years of experiences that she kept on encountering one after the other that staying alert was safer than letting go. Yes. How many have felt like this? Does this feel some way similar or something that did happen? And neuroscience explained this so clearly. And we have been talking about Dr. Stephen Borges for, I think, 3 days. Yes. Through his research on polyvagal theory, shows us that nervous system is constantly running one background process. Like it's like a software that is running in the background. Every single moment of the day. That process is called neuroception. I think I spoke about it yesterday as well. That what it's doing is scanning. And that scanning he's trying to figure out, am I safe right now? Or do I need to protect myself? And here is what's so important to understand is this scanning happens before your thinking brain is even involved in it. Your body decides whether you are in danger before your conscious mind has a chance to reason through it. Which is why it's exactly why telling yourself just relax, calm down rarely works. The alarm isn't coming from your thoughts, it's coming from your somewhere much deeper. Those small experiences, those small events, those small trigger moments that has been happening for a while. So when someone has spent years and years pushing through suppressing their feelings, overperforming, staying hyper aware to keep things from falling apart, their system, that is their nervous system, starts to expect stress as the default, and it gets conditioned to it. Stress becomes familiar, safety becomes the thing that feels strange. I would read it again. Stress becomes familiar and safety becomes the thing that feels strange. And this is when something quietly painful starts to happen. That is, calm starts to feel unsettling. Stillness starts to feel like something is missing. And rest, that actual rest can start to create more anxiety, not less. What changed things for her was not forcing her to think positively. It did take a long time. But here, it was not something like forcing her to think positive alone. It was not like white knuckling her way into calm. It was something quieter than that. It was slowly, gradually teaching her nervous system through consistent experience that safety was actual possible and that she could put the guard down. She's out of danger, that nothing could collapse if she did, that nothing could collapse if she did. And that was possible through grounding, through body awareness, through learning to feel her emotions instead of managing them. Also, through being allowed to slow down without punishing herself for it. You would have seen many a times, especially women, they feel guilt when they just try to relax or say working, working person, whether it is men or women. Mainly this emotional thing triggers the moment they try to rest, they will feel like it's something like a, you know, guilt trip they get into, as if they are not entitled to take rest. And over time, her body stopped bracing, it stopped living in that low hum of survival. And these were the steps that helped her to overcome these things. Not because her life became perfect, because her nervous system finally got the message that it was allowed to rest. And I want you to hold this as the most important thing from today. Healing is not training yourself to never feel anything. And I'll say, even anybody from the healing or coaching background, it's not something that they are away from any feelings. Healing is not becoming someone who doesn't react. That's also not true. Healing is giving your nervous system enough repeated experiences of safety that it slowly stops needing to protect you from everything. So, your nervous system is not your enemy. It is doing the most loyal thing it knows how to do. It is protecting you the one way it was, the only way, the one and only way it was ever taught. Today, we are going to start teaching it something new on this. So, as I said, never think that your nervous system, um, you know, like it's your enemy. So let's understand this regulation, science, and safety cues about it. So, one important thing I would like to tell you once again, that your nervous system is not having a malfunction, it is running a program, a very old, very sophisticated survival program. So, Stephen Porges, a neuroscientist at University of Indiana, spent decades studying the vagus nerve And what he found changed everything we understand about stress. He called his framework the polyvagal theory. Today I'm going to little bit elaborate that where and how of it. And what it basically tells us is this: your nervous system is constantly 24 hours a day scanning your environment for only one question: am I safe? It's like your antivirus in your laptop systems. It scans. This scanning process is called neuroception. I just gave that name earlier as well. Here's the wild part: it happens completely below your conscious awareness. So your nervous system decides, you know, you are in danger before your thinking brain even registers there's a problem. Which is why you can't just tell yourself to calm down. The alarm is not coming from your mind, it's coming from a much older, deeper part of your biology. And polyvagal theory describes the three states your nervous system moves through. So we are going to get a little deeper about it. It's a little scientific here. The first is those stages I want to talk about. So the first is the ventral vagal state. This is your safe and social mode. Your heart rate is steady, your voice is warm, you can think clearly, connect with others, feel curious, be creative. This is your baseline. If you grew up in a safe, regulated environment. The second is the sympathetic state, that is the fight or flight. Your body floods with cortisol and adrenaline. Heart rate spikes, breath gets shallow, digestion shuts down, your vision narrows. This is brilliant for running from a tiger. It is absolutely exhausting when it gets triggered by an email, a traffic jam, or a critical comment. And the third is the dorsal vagal state, that is freeze and collapse. This is the oldest state when the threat feels so overwhelming that fighting or running won't work. Your system just shut down. You feel numb, disconnected, unmotivated, empty. It looks like depression. It looks like laziness. Yet, it is just survival. That's why we often say that the child growth often relies on the environment he is brought up. If it is safe and regulated environment, it becomes like, where the voices are warm. The people, they actually grow up as emotionally intelligent kid. They think clearly, connect with others, and they don't shut down. So let's talk about safety cues. What actually regulates? So, what brings us back to safety is Porges identified something he called safety cues. And this is where it gets beautiful. Your nervous system listens for specific signal that say, danger has passed and you can rest now. These are not affirmations. They are your biological signals, a soft, warm, melodic voice. So, say this is similar to like an eye contact from a safe person, right? Slow, deep breathing, specifically a longer exhale than inhale. That's why I always say that whenever we are doing certain exercises or practices, it's like slow breathe in and longer exhale, which directly activates the vagus nerve. Um, Let me also explain you about this. Like, have you ever realized that physical warmth, or certain gentle touch, or rhythmic movement. Even the humming activates the vagus nerve because it vibrates the same muscles. That's why you will say, a hug from the right person can calm you down in seconds. It can make you feel safe just in few seconds. Say, if they are going through a terrible, terrible situation, just a gentle hug, a calmer voice, polite tone, this helps them to calm them in few seconds. This is why being in nature feels regulating. You will see that whenever we go into some places where it's so calm, it will feel you much more calmer. Even this is why, even why, those music moves you. Either it will make you emotionally excited, or emotionally touched. And your body is not being irrational, it is responding to biological safety cues. And the most powerful thing I can tell you is this: you can learn to create those safety cues for yourself. This is what regulation is, and that is what we are going to practice today. So let's start. So I would like to guide you through a short grounding practice now. And this is really magical. You don't need to close your eyes if that doesn't feel comfortable. You can soften your gaze instead. Just calm your eyes. Do it in a comfortable space. Don't do it in a hurry. And look slightly downward like this. And start by feeling your feet on the floor. So whenever there is any kind of grounding practice is done, it's always you have to be flat feet on the ground. Really feel them. Okay? The weight, just really feel them. The weight, the temperature, the contact. You will feel that senses. Barefoot. You don't have to do anything with that. Just notice. Now feel the weight of your body in whatever you are sitting or lying on, whether it's chair or a flat surface down, whatever. Let yourself be held by that surface. You don't have to hold yourself up right now. Just let yourself be held. And then take a deep breath in through your nose. Say count for 4. And now breathe out through your mouth slowly for about 6 count. Like I always say, 4 counts. The longer exhale activates your vagus nerve, and it sends a direct message to your brainstem: we are safe. Okay? Keep breathing in. Now look around the room without moving quickly. Just let your eyes move slowly around. Find 5 things you can see. Just notice them. Your nervous system reads slow, exploratory eye movement as a safety signal. This is one of the best practice. It's called an orienting response. It says, I have scanned my environment and there is no immediate threat. So wherever you are doing, just do that eye movement for that safety signal. Place one hand on your chest. Feel your heartbeat or just the warmth. This gesture activates the release of oxytocin, your bonding hormone. You're literally offering yourself the same neurochemical comfort you would get from a trusted person's touch. So if you have no one to hug, you can actually do this. And just notice, even subtly, if anything has shifted, even for 2%, even a small softening somewhere. If that shift you just felt, that is not magic. That is neuroscience. That is your vagal brake engaging. Your body knows how to come home. It has always known. It just needed the right conditions. Now tell me, did this make little better? If yes, type into chat. So I want you to leave you with this today, that your nervous system is not trying to destroy life. It has been trying to protect you in the best way it learned. And maybe instead of fighting yourself constantly, you can begin learning how to work with yourself compassionately. Because emotional healing is not about becoming emotionless, it is about helping your body feel safe enough to fully live again. And sometimes that process becomes easier with guidance. It is a space, and I always say that space where you can understand your emotional patterns. You will get this space where you can regulate your nervous system and reconnect with yourself safely. So today was a little heavy session, if because when I was sharing those experience, I could actually go through it. And if this session resonated with you deeply, you can explore the link in the description and reach out for a discovery call to understand the situation better. No pressure, just support, awareness, and a safe space to understand yourself better. And there is no shame in doing that. You are not broken. Your nervous system has simply been trying to protect you for a long time, for a very long time. Just take care of yourself. With this, I would like to end this session today. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for being here today. See you tomorrow.